Bruins Benders post-game live on the Inside the Rink YouTube channel with Matty and Smitty. Click subscribe to watch us all season long right here on YouTube, on Inside the Rink's YouTube channel. Follow on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X at Bruins Benders. Another loss for the Bruins tonight. This time in overtime, 5-4 to the New York Islanders. Islanders coming into the game just 14, 18, and 5 or whatever it was.
14,
18, and 7. So essentially 14 and 25 on the season. Yeah. And they lose to the Islanders at home, a game that these are the types of games they really have to win. They have to get 2 points against these teams, especially with this gauntlet of teams coming up. So again, a missed opportunity, and it's something that's going to bite them as we go forward.
Yeah, sure it is. I mean, the Tampa Bay is 2 points behind you in the standings with 5 games in hand. Mm-hmm. And if you're going to tell me that Tampa Bay is going to go 1-4 in their next 5, I'm going to call you a fucking liar. Sorry, John, but I will. So they're passing you because you keep blowing opportunities like this against bad teams. You can't lose to the Islanders and the Rangers. You can't. And they just did, and they're going to sink in the standings because of it. You can't lose these games. If you think you're a playoff team, these are games you need to win. Have to win. Have to
beat these teams. They're coming up with Lightning a couple of times, Panthers, Avalanche, Devils. I mean, there's a bunch of teams in there that are much better than the Islanders. Islanders are only 7-9-3, I think it was, at home coming in. I mean, on the road coming in. So not a great road team. And the Bruins, just had to win this game, and they came out and didn't look like they were ready to win it, and then dig themselves a hole, and then down 4-2 after a terrible goal, I thought, defensively, just a train wreck defensively. And I think it was Lee who scored his second goal of the game there. Just awful. And then that made it 4-2, and then they come back. Pastrnak scores a couple. Place is getting going, and they're playing with more jump, and it looks pretty good. And then in the overtime, they take a couple long shifts, and then Marchand just can't kind of win a battle, and then he's dead. And then Bo Horvat just outskates everybody. He's alone by a mile. Mm-hmm. And Korpisalo almost had it. You wish he had, but it leaks through, and then you lose.
Yeah, I mean, they controlled the play in overtime. I mean, it was all Bruins for the entirety of the overtime until it wasn't, until it was the end, and the Islanders had one opportunity to score in overtime. The Bruins had a million. The Islanders score on their one chance. The Bruins can't score on any of theirs, and there you go. Game's over. McAvoy drops it to Marchand. Marchand's the last guy back. He shoots, the rebound comes wide, and instead of staying back, he goes after the puck. Doesn't win it, and then you give up a breakaway and you lose. Marchand tonight was -3 or -4, whatever it was. -4. So, a terrible decision by a guy who's supposed to be the leader of the team. Yeah. And you lose because of it. And he was awful all night long, as was Elias Lindholm. And McAvoy. I didn't catch some of the earlier period, the early part of the game, so I don't know how that was as far as his play went. But late, he's smashing his stick over the net. Like, he's clearly frustrated with how things are going. Sure. On that particular play, I didn't blame him because he makes a nice play to angle off Lee. His defense partner comes, swoops up the puck, and just passes it to the other team, and they come in, walking, and score. Yeah. So he gets a minus for that, which, in that case, you probably say he doesn't deserve one. But, there's been plenty of other times where he's been the culprit, and it's been, his defensive partner making a good play, and then he gives it away. So it's not like, I'm trying to give McAvoy a pass here, because he certainly this year has not been as good as he needs to be, nor have anyone really on the team this year. I don't know if you can point to a single guy and say, yeah, that guy's been better than he was last year.
Except for Justin Brazeau. Except for Brazer.
Brazzers, you're right.
Brazer time here in Boston.
Right about that. Brazzers is going to win the 7th player award now, isn't he?
Thank goodness.
Is he the front runner for the 7th player award?
Sure. Give him
It
the
was
seventh.
Castellic. It was Castellic early on, but I think it's Brazeau's to lose right now.
Brazeau's going to win it just because he's huge. He's that guy. The Bruins fans are starting to fall in love with him. They're going to sign him again, probably.
I mean, look, he has 10 goals.
He's 10 goals.
He's tied for third on the team in goals.
Wow.
So, fuck. Yeah. I mean, they have to sign him.
That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing.
It is embarrassing. With some of the other guys they have on the roster that, you have an undrafted free agent guy who's making the most of his opportunities when you have, Elias Lindholm getting paid $7.75 to be a -4 tonight. Like, fuck. Come on, dude. Need you to be better than that. If you're a number one center, need you to be better than that.
Yeah. Yeah. Look, I was out today in Monson, Maine at a little barbecue place in the middle of nowhere with some townies, drinking a beer, picking up some barbecue. And I come home to try to catch the Bruins. And I wish I hadn't. Like, it's just like, like you said before we came on, like, saying the same thing over and over again, every single thing. I mean, they are what they are. They are not great defensively. They can't score at all. I mean, you gave the stat, or someone gave the stat on X, but you sent it in the group text, the stat about offensively, what they've spent money on offensively.
Yes.
And what they spent money on defensively and goaltending. And it shows why there's such a glaring need for offense on the team. It's pretty simple, really.
It is. I'm trying to find it here. Yeah. Bruins are in the bottom 10 in cap hit for forwards. So it's understandable why they don't score, but they spend in the top 5 in D and the top 3 in goal. So they're top 3 cap hits in goaltending in the entire NHL. Top 3. And that's what you're getting from your goaltending.
That's what you're getting from your goaltending right now. Top 3. And your top 5 in D, is that what you said?
Top 5, yeah.
Top 5 in D. Okay. Top 5 in D, and your left side right now is Zadorov, Lowry, Wotherspoon. Right now. That's or Osterley. Whatever. Who cares? Like that. So that's your top 5 in spending on defense. And that's your left side. Okay. And then your goaltending is 8.25 in Korpisalo. And neither one of them are stealing you games. So boy, that's they're not like,
it's not even terrific. That they're not stealing you games. They're giving games away.
They are giving games away.
Swayman is the worst goaltender in the NHL in goals saved above expected, which means he's letting goals in that most other goalies are saving.
Yes.
He's a dash in that category, the worst in the league. So that means he allows the most soft goals in the entire league right now. So all the people that want to say, oh, it's not Swayman's fault, it's the defense. That's not true. It's not flat out not true.
It's not true.
He lets in the most goals that should be saved in the entire league.
In the entire league. Yeah.
So let's not pretend it's only on the defense or only on the forwards because they're not back checking. It's on number 1, Maine Business School man. It's on you. It's on Mr. Holdout. That's who it's on. That might be my new nickname for him, Mr. Holdout. Mr. You guys can call him 8.25. I'll call him Mr. Holdout until he decides he wants to start fucking playing. Sorry.
Yeah, sure. Bruins with 20 giveaways tonight.
That's good.
Outshot 37-30.
That's good.
To the Islanders. That's good. As we said before, Lindholm -4, Marchand -4, McAvoy -3, Coyle -2. The hits were there. The Bruins had more hits than the Islanders, led by Morgan Geeky's 5 hits.
Producer Connor is trying to crawl right up my ass right now.
Mason Lowry did not have a hit tonight. He's still at 8 on the season, frozen solid right there.
I may or may not be rage baiting.
You absolutely are rage baiting. Yeah. He says, Joe Sacco, we found a way to grind it out and get a point. Look, Joe, you had the lead. You had the lead in the game after a pretty good start. The first 3 or 4 shifts were good. And then your team decided to go to sleep for the remainder of the first period. And then it's 2-1. And then you're chasing the game for the rest of the night. So don't give me the bullshit about grinding out a point. You don't need a point. You need 2 points against the shitty fucking Islanders team. That's what you need. 2, not 1, asshole. 2.
Me too. And I'll tell you what, I'd rather him say, we really need to win these games at home right now, because in the standings, I would like him to come out and say it, because in the standings, there's some teams with games in hand, that are just behind us, and we can't do anything about that right now. So what we have to do is keep getting as many points as we can going forward to lessen that blow. That's what I'd like him to say. And tonight they didn't get the extra point. They didn't get 2 points. They got 1 point. And it come at the end of the year, if they're 3 or 4 points out, you can look back at some of these games.
Absolutely.
Where they had a chance to put some space between the opposing teams, and they did not. And now it's going to come back to bite them. And, now they're going to have to go and win some games that they probably shouldn't. They're going to be not favored. They're going to be favored to lose games going forward. And they're going to have to win those games and get 2 points in tough road games against tough teams now, because you put yourself behind the 8 ball.
Yeah, you put yourself in a bad spot. And I'll tell you what, I hope they can squirm their way out of it, but I don't think it's likely. I really don't. I told you before, I think they're going to be in 5th or 6th place at the end of this, 7-game stretch here.
Yeah, they are. I think it's headed that way. All right, Dan Maynard in the fan comments. Goodbye, all momentum. I predict a 4-2 loss. You were almost right, Dan. They were down 4-2.
Yeah.
The pull Korpisalo at the end, and the Islanders will fuck us with an empty net goal. The Bruins came back to tie it. What you like to see. Pastrnak with 2 goals. He has 17 now in the season, so he's back to being close to a 40-goal type of guy, even in a bad year. In a bad year with no center and in a bad offensive team where he's getting blanketed all over the place, he might still score 40 goals this year, which is pretty astounding.
It really is.
Matthew Curtis, God, this team is comically bad. The Brazeau Watch 2025. 5 goals until T-Boz's Sorry John t-shirt. And to answer your question, Dan, I do scream fuck every time Brazeau scores because of that very situation. And I'll tell you, this is going to be so Bruins to sign extend Geeky, extend Brazeau, extend Kastelik, and run it back with largely the same team next season. It's just going to be so Bruins to do that.
I mean, that is so Bruins.
It is.
But I'll tell you what, the one saving grace may be if this team keeps up what they're doing currently, they won't make the playoffs, and maybe Sweeney gets gassed and they got to bring somebody else in, and then maybe they don't re-sign all those guys and they don't run it back, and we get some fresh ideas and fresh players in here, and we can do something else. Because
if they don't make the playoffs, they'll do something more than they usually do. That's true. I don't think they can go back to doing what they're still doing. Something will happen if they miss the playoffs, because that's fairly unacceptable here. Yeah. So I think that is true. If they sneak into the playoffs, you're kind of screwed, because it's going to be a little tweak, a little this, a little that, and try to run it back again next year. And they'll say, well, this guy had a down year, and we expect Swayman to be better, and we expect this guy to be better, and we expect this guy to be better. And then here we go again. Yeah. Like this is what it is. This is what it's going to be. And you're up against the cap. So you have guys on long-term deals with big money who are the core of the team, which is really the number one issue. It's the core of the team playing below their level of play. If that doesn't change and you can't really do anything about that, you're kind of stuck, because you have nobody else in the farm or anybody else you can bring up. You don't have Matthew Nyes. You don't have these guys that can come in and slot in and be better.
Yeah, Bruins are 4-5-1 in their last 10 with 49 goals scored, including tonight. So
2.9 points, 2.9 goals per game.
Yeah,
in the last 10. I mean, this is what they are. Defense and goaltending, my ass, says Pejman. This team is built on stupidity and underperformers, and there's a lot of underperforming going on for sure. 3-pass tic-tac goal by Pastrnak. Okay, this is where Smitty comes in, because Smitty is the 3-in-a-row tape-to-tape guy
Yes.
And he said this before a million times. 3 tape-to-tape passes in a row usually lead to an excellent scoring chance.
That's right. Off the rush, 3 tapes in a row do usually lead to an excellent scoring chance. There you go.
There it
Rick
is.
said it during the contest. 3 tapes, and you get a goal out of it.
Yeah.
Amazing. What can
You
happen?
said that. You said that.
But look, it's also amazing how bad this team passes. So the likelihood of stringing 3 tape-to-tape passes together with this team is slim. It is. They might get a tape-to-tape pass, and then the next one might be in a guy's foot, in a guy's feet, or way out in front of him. Or they'll decide not to go tape-to-tape and just dump it in, and then it's
carry it too long,
and then it's try to win it back. But when they do string the passes together, it usually leads to good things.
It usually does.
They just can't do it often enough.
No, they can't. And as Odyssey says, those signature cross-ice bullets from Zacha to Pasta, the 1T or vice versa, are telepathic. Go Bees. Zacha and Pastrnak do have some chemistry.
Yeah.
I mean, that's clear. He could use another winger on the other side that's a better goal scorer. And I think if you do that, like you said before, you put a couple of really good forwards who can score 30 to 40 to 50, 30 to 40 goals apiece, then Zacha would raise Zacha's level of play and production.
For sure. It certainly would. Just like I think it would raise anybody's level of production. Like if you had Elias Lindholm between Pastrnak and Marner or William Nylander or whatever, 2 really good players, just by being out there with those guys, he's going to collect points. Like you don't have to do much when you're with 2 really elite talents to collect points. So that's where I would like them to go with their spending. I would like them to collect more elite talents and not, focus on the 3rd and 4th line depth of the team. We need guys that are hard to play against. No, you need elite talent. That's what you need.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, you do. You need elite talent. And they don't, they have some, I'd say that obviously Pastrnak is an elite talent.
Yes, absolutely.
Marchand has been probably, is he elite right now? He's, he's very good, but he's not elite.
He's not elite anymore.
And McAvoy, I don't think is elite. I think he's very good.
Yes.
He's playing well, but I don't think he's elite. So yes, you need elite talent, and other teams have more elite talent than they do. And I think that's the problem. And then defensively, they've been without Hampus Lindholm, which is a huge loss for them. I mean, that's just a very big loss.
Yeah, them. I mean that's part of the defense spending. A huge part of the defense spending is he's $6.5 million. So and he's out of the lineup, and they miss him for sure. Brandon Carlo misses him most definitely. Right. So there'll be a better team with him in the lineup. Is he going to make all the difference in the world? Look, I mean, he had a goal or 2 in however many games he played. So it's not like he's going to come back and all of a sudden, your offensive problems are going to be solved. He might help shore up the defensive side. And maybe, maybe if you shore up the defensive side, 2.9 goals a game are enough.
Sure.
If you're giving up, 2.5 or 2, whatever, 2.6 instead of, 3 or 3.5, then, you can win some of those games. But until you shore up the defense and get better goaltending, like you're in trouble. Like,
yeah, you are. Yeah.
I mean, the Bruins have had really elite goaltending for a long time. For a long time. Tim Thomas to Tuukka Rask to, Swayman and Allmark together when they were doing the tandem thing, they were really, really good, elite. And this year it hasn't been. And this is what you get when you don't get elite goaltending. You're a bottom of the barrel team. You're a middling or worse team in the league. That's what happens when, you look at the Flyers teams or the Penguins teams, the last couple of years, like bad goaltending, even if you have good forwards like the Penguins do, will do you in,
Yeah, that's for sure. Dan Maynard asked about other teams potentially using tandem goalies. The only team I can think of that does is Washington. As far as the good teams go, Charlie Lindgren, Logan Thompson have played even number of games. So as far as the good playoff level teams are, that's the only one I can think of.
What's
particularly
Vegas
in the
do?
Eastern Conference.
Does Vegas do it with Aiden Hill and
Vegas? Let me see what
the other
Vegas
guy?
stats. Vegas has, you know what? They might. They have Aiden Hill's at 25 games, and 14 for Samsonov.
Okay.
So 2/3 kind of thing. The only team just quickly looking, the only team I could really see was Washington as far as a really good team. I mean, Jari and the other dude for Pittsburgh. That's kind of a tandem.
Nedelovich or
yeah.
Nedelovich or whatever.
That's the other team.
Does Carolina do it? Well, Frederick Anderson's been hurt, so
yeah, Frederick Anderson's been hurt. Carolina right now has Kochetkov has 25 games, and I don't know. The next guy is down the list. So basically, it's those two teams, Philly and Washington, that do it. So typically, no, but I think the Bruins could probably do it. I mean, look, I don't think either guy's playing particularly great right now. So maybe a tandem it just to see if we can get some sort of rhythm with it. I don't know. Maybe it just gets Swayman right. I don't know. I don't know what you do there. Your goaltending's not good enough though for the team that you have, where you have to play low scoring games.
I mean, I would have said go tandem like a week ago or a week and a half ago, but the way that Korpisalo's been playing lately, I'm not sure I want him in there. I mean, Swayman hasn't been any great shakes or anything, but he seemed to be playing a little bit better the last handful of games before, the Rangers game. So, maybe he's starting to find it a little bit. So I'm not sure I would want it. Korpisalo, his last couple of games, would he give up 6 and then 4 or something?
Yeah.
So
I mean,
it's
been great.
That's not good.
Yeah, I really don't know no one's going to steal you a game right now. So I don't know what you do there.
Yeah, I mean, I think you let Mr. Holdout, continue to try to find his game, and just hope that he does before it's too late.
Yeah. Pejman says you could see that coming. 3+ minutes of possession in the overtime. You can't fucking score. And then all of a sudden, the Islanders would end it the first time they touched the puck. I really hate this team. Yeah, that's true. I mean, you could see that coming, though.
Mm-hmm.
And that last shift was getting a little long. Legs were getting a little tired. And they pinned themselves up against like the left wall. It was like it wasn't looking good. And you turn it over there. And then Horvat has all sorts of speed to the net. And it's over. Does this force Sweeney's hand now, says Matthew Curtis? 4 losses in a row rolling into the hardest stretch of the schedule this year. No, I don't think Sweeney's doing anything until 4 Nations. I don't think he's doing anything until at least then. He might extend a guy like Brazeau or some stupid thing, but as far as making a tweak to this roster, no. I mean, what he's looking at right now is just get to 4 Nations. And Hampus Lindholm will come back after that probably. So you add him, and then maybe do something at the deadline that's not huge, but something. And then that's kind of it. I don't think he's going to do all that much.
I would love to see them do something, but I agree. I mean, that's not really in his nature to shake things up during the season. No, it really isn't.
It's not.
So, I don't know. I don't know where you go from here. It's been the same shit over and over again. So, what do you do? Do you just keep running the same guys out there and having them take shifts off and you lose games, or poor coverage and you lose games, or bad defense and you lose games, or bad goaltending and you lose games, or you can't score because you lose games? Like it's the same. It's the same issues. Mm-hmm. It's just they're just not good enough. Is what it boils down to. They're just not good enough. There's too many issues to fix. He can't fix them all. He doesn't have enough cap space. He doesn't have the balls to make a hockey trade where he changes the culture of the room, or the how the feeling within the roster. He's not going to change anything.
No, he's not. Good news right now is the Lightning have lost 3 in a row and are losing to the Ducks 2-0 right now in the second period. So maybe you survive at least one more night of the Lightning being 3 points behind you. Here are the stats from our producer Connor. Korpisalo is 3-2 in his last 5 with a 3.20 goals against average and an 8.69
Before tonight for Korpisalo.
Before tonight. So tonight he lost overtime loss. 8.69 save percentage. Huh?
So he's 3-2-1 now.
3-2-1 with whatever now because he gave up 5 goals.
Yeah. So the 3-2 is going
great.
up.
Yeah. Swayman 2-3 in his last 5, 1.84 goals against and 9.17 save percentage. So there is some stats there that show that he's at least playing better. Is he stealing games? Is he making a big save when he need it? Didn't the other night.
No.
Didn't last night. But his numbers are better. So maybe he's starting to get back to his game. They can only hope so. They really need it from him. 100%. Let's see. Aussie Bruins definitely highlights our team. We lost to a team with only 14 wins and a differential of -21. Do you think the Benders sign Barry McCockiner or Mike Latoris soon? Yeah, I think so, Chris. Maybe we could sign one of those guys. Yeah. That could help. I hear that. Yeah, I hear that they really drive the line there.
Yeah, maybe they play together. Maybe Barry McCock and Mike Latoris.
Yeah.
Play together.
Maybe Benjamin Dover is available at the deadline. We'll see. I am so sick of the fucking philosophy of not calling up the guys because they don't play a 200-foot game, Shaz. I get it. I mean, I do too. They expect their young guys to play a perfect game.
They do.
And their veteran guys don't play any perfect games.
None.
I mean, over and over again, they do the same stuff. And it's not David Pastrnak and those guys, that are obviously you're going to put them in the lineup. It's the guys in the bottom 6 that just don't produce. It's Trent Frederick going a month without a point. Like, you mean to tell me John Farinacci couldn't do that for 3 games?
Yeah, he could. And speaking of John Farinacci, he's been hot in Providence lately.
Hot as a pistol right now.
Yep.
Hot as a pistol right now is Farinacci.
Yep.
Give him a friggin' chance.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they at least create a spark or something.
I honestly feel like that's some of what they're missing. Like when you bring new guys in, young guys especially, it gives the rest of the room a lift usually because those guys are so excited to be there and so fired up to be there that they kind of give the rest of the room a jump because those guys are so excited and ready to go that it kind of permeates the rest of the room. They could use a little of that. Like just bring a couple of young guys who really want to work and play, and maybe that shit rubs off on some people, and you get better performances out of some of those guys.
Yeah. Jason says, "Go ahead."
No, that's all.
Oh, Jason says they'll pick up Kaliev next, and doesn't our producer Connor Green said, "Boy, pick up this guy. This guy's." He said it every time a guy's hit the waiver wire. Connor's been all over him. Yeah, pick him up. Malmstrom, pick them up. Pick them all up.
Lottery fucking tickets, baby.
Oh, yeah, lottery tickets. My
scratches.
Asshole. You know how many lottery tickets I bought and lost on all of them?
Yeah.
1,000.
Yeah, but you know what you do when you lose on those tickets?
You mail them into the lottery and try to win the second chance drawing.
The paper. Yeah.
Just fucking throw them away.
Yeah. I mean, look, I'm with you. I mean, at this point, it can't hurt. But at the same time, I think the knock on Kaliev is that he can't skate worth a damn. So that's he would fit right in with the Bruins. So I think they should pick him up.
Yeah. Fox Guy 67. If the team takes on the personality of the coach, yikes. I don't know. I mean, look, at the end of the day, their roster isn't good enough. They're a middling team, like you said. They'll win a couple, lose a couple, win a couple, lose a couple. 500 team. I mean, they're a 500 team. They're essentially 20-22 right now. They're 20-17-5. They're 20-22.
Yeah,
in 42 games, and that's essentially who they are and what they are. And the coach and everything else, like the personality and this and that, and leadership and all that. The players on the team are a 500 team, and that's what you got right now. I mean, Look at the team. They just you have guys who play and you watch them, and as soon as they get the puck, nothing's going to happen.
Mhm.
It's and it's so hard to watch. It's so hard to watch. Outside of Marchand, Braz, Castlick, Peak, not a single Bruin, maybe Corpy, although that's coming to an end, has carried their weight. I would agree on Peak. I would agree on Castlick to a point. Lately, not as great. Brazeau's been a pleasant surprise. He's been able to maintain some production, which I didn't think he could. And Marchand's been pretty good for much of the year. Lack of talent prevents a cup, but it's a cop out for sucking this bad. Well, I'll say that too. I think that this roster is better than this, but not. I don't know how much though, and that's what I have to figure out. I do think they should be playing better and more consistently. But I don't. I think they lost their identity and they lost. The roster's been tweaked in the offseason, and they brought in some players that didn't fit the certain style. And I think they're between. I don't know if they know what kind of style they really want to play or can play with the personnel. Again, tonight I'm watching dump-ins and no chance to get the puck. Like, no chance to get the puck. 4 or 5 dump-ins in a row.
I mean, I was watching late in the game where they were doing a forecheck when they were still down 1.
Yeah.
And, like, it was dumped in. It goes to the left wing boards, and Zacha just glides over the guy and he reverses it, and then they get it out easily.
They do that quite a bit.
Like they're just not aggressive on the forecheck.
They aren't. I don't think they know what style they want to play. We've said it before. Like, just unleash them. Just be hard forechecking guys. You're gonna get some speed and size, then use it.
Yeah,
use it. Like, hit guys when they release it. Wear down the defense. I thought that's what you wanted to be. Evidently.
I mean, I think they just they don't have enough guys in their forward group that are willing to hit all the time.
Right.
Like
they need to own the identity they want to be. If they want to be more physical and all that stuff and have bigger size and heavier and all that, then they need to own that. In this off season, they need to say, okay, these guys can't do it. We're shipping them out.
Right. That's
what they need to do. They can't play in between. But the Bruins have been the in between team since my birth, and it's just like that's is what they are. They just stay in between. They get caught in between. Lightning have lost 3 in a row, so we had a real chance to pull away. Also, Senators lost 2 in a row. That's true. So luckily, those teams are losing right now. They are not talented enough to win a cup, but if Zacha, Coyle, Swayman, McAvoy, Elias, Lindholm, and others just got their heads out of their shrinkers, they'd be top 2 in the Atlantic. The offense is still a problem beyond that.
Yeah.
The offense is just still a problem. And I don't know if they're top. They're not top 2 in the Atlantic means you're better than Toronto and Florida. They aren't.
No.
I mean, they aren't. And I don't think they're better than Tampa Bay either.
They're not better than Tampa Bay.
You're top 4 right now. You're top 4.
I'm not sure they're better than Ottawa.
No, I'm not sure either. John Callahan. When Geeky and Coyle are first and second line wingers, your roster stinks, period. It's true. I mean, they're playing above where they should be playing in the lineup. Yeah. Sweeney has created this mess over his 10 years with poor drafting, signings, and trades. Time for a change of GM. I think that that was John as well. I think that Sweeney made some nice tweaks to the old core, and we've talked about it. The new core, or changing over the core, is just not in his bag. That's not his thing. He hasn't been able to show that he can do that. So get another guy that can do that.
Yeah. I mean, I subscribe to that. I've been on board with that since the offseason. I think he mismanaged the offseason, and it showed. It showed.
Yeah, it's just Bruins Meat says, you've been good for a long time. Your top 2 centers retire. What did people expect? Last year was a lot of luck from guys that came back to earth this year. That's true. That's probably true. But the problem is they haven't developed the forward in their system beyond Trent Frederick in 10 years.
Yeah.
I mean, don't give me they haven't drafted here or there or wherever. You mean to tell me one guy? They can't get one guy in 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, Braden Point was a 3rd rounder.
He's a third round pick, Braden Point.
So
Yeah.
I mean, they haven't done it, and the center's retired. They also didn't have a plan. Like you knew you were going year to year with Bergeron. Why did you not have a backup plan? You knew Krejci was getting towards the end of the line. The guys were almost the exact same age, a year or two apart. You knew that was going to come to an end soon. Why did you not have a plan? You tried to get John Tavares, and then after that, you gave up. You were just like, well, we didn't get Tavares, so fuck it. We'll just roll the dice and see what happens down the line. Oh, Elias Lindholm's available. He can be a Bergeron. He can fill in. Nope.
Yeah.
He had 44 points last year, folks. 4-4.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
He was a -4 tonight. He's not the answer. They paid too much for him. And, so now you're stuck with that guy long term.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he turns it around. I really do. I think he's a nice little player, but he's not the offensive production you were hoping for. You didn't replace Bergeron at all with him.
Yeah.
At all.
It's true. Shaz Diet says 14 games without a point from the back end, 15 games without a goal, which we said last night is the third longest streak in Bruins history. I mean,
Correct.
2 more games and they tie the 2001-2002 team that had 17-game streak.
Yeah.
19 is the longest streak. So yeah, they're not getting anything from the back end offensively, which hurts too, because if you're not getting that and you don't have a ton of speed and a ton of creativity and good center play offensively, then how are you going to score goals? Like, how are you going to score?
And here's the other question that I have for Sweens, my good buddy Sweens. If you're paying your defense top 5 in the NHL, cap-wise for your defense, why do you have a defense that can't produce offensively? Like, if you're paying that much money for your defense, what are you actually paying for?
No.
That's a question that I have. What are you paying for? If your defense can't produce at all, what are you paying for? What are you spending all the money on if you don't have any guys who can actually produce points? They don't give you anything at all.
Because what they thought was Sweeney had no answer for the Bergeron and Krejci departures. So what he said was, we're going to do goaltending and defense and win low scoring games, and this is what we're going to do. So we're going to invest in the goaltending and the defense. But the problem is, you get kind of the wrong players there. You get some offensive defensemen. You got a couple of guys who can play decent defensively. You get a weird mix of defensive players, first of all. Then you get the goaltender who never played a full season. So he only played half seasons his whole career. So now you get a guy who's never played 65 games. He comes out, he completely holds you over a barrel, even though you really didn't need him to. And then he comes in and he doesn't play well. So now you have no offense because you didn't put any money in the offense, because you just know that there's no top centers out there for you. You know that. So you pivoted and you said, we're going to get bigger, heavier defensive goaltending. And it's backfired because none of that has played well. None of that has done well. Your defense is not as good as you thought it was. And your goaltending is not nearly as good as you thought it was. So there you are. That's it. I mean, that's what you wanted to do. That's what you thought was the remedy. And for whatever reason, it just didn't work. So
but
now
most of the time when people spend on defense, they spend for guys who can produce. We spent on guys who are supposed to be good defensively, I guess, and they don't produce. So, like, what are you paying for? So that's my point. They overspent on the defense. Like, why did you give all that money to Zadorov if he's not going to produce offensively? Like, that's not where you spend that money. If you're going to give $6 million a year or whatever it was, $5 million a year times 6 years, or $6 million times 5 years, I don't remember what it was. One of those.
6 times 5. Yeah.
Yeah. So like that's too much.
Yeah, you look at. I don't. You could have gone with another Kevin Shattenkirk type of guy.
Yeah.
With Wotherspoon and Osterley and just friggin' made it work in your third pair, and not spent all that money in term on Zadorov. that's a real head scratcher to me because he was brought in as like, okay, this guy's gonna protect McAvoy and beat guys up and be big thumper and all that stuff. He's done it a little bit, big thumping hits or whatever, but he's largely been not good in any other aspect of his game.
Yeah.
So you can spend $1 million a year on that guy, on thump a guy.
That's my point is, and I don't think, like you said, I don't believe that the defense that they actually accumulated fits well together at all. Like they have a lot of guys that are redundant. Like Lindholm and Lowry are basically the same guy. Zadorov is a big hulking guy, but you're playing with another guy who's kind of a defensive defenseman too. Like you need guys who complement each other better than this. Like they need a puck mover with a guy who's a
smash of roster.
Yeah, they need a puck mover with a guy who's a defensive defenseman, or they need a guy that's offensively talented with a defensive defenseman. They don't have any of that. So it's like they've been searching all year long to find guys who fit together well, and none of them do. They don't have a single pair outside of maybe Hampus Lindholm and Brandon Carlo that fit together well. Not one.
Not one. Odysseys with an interesting point. Everybody recognizes that the upcoming stretch is tough, so expectations are low. But what if Sway bails the Bruins out? Is the holdout forgotten then, or will he get the Rask syndrome? So is he starting to kind of build a reputation for himself that could hurt him like it hurt Rask?
Yeah, he's entering Rask territory.
Yeah,
sure.
If Rask is a better goaltender.
Yeah, 100% he is.
Yeah.
Rask would just got a bad rap because he wasn't, bulldoggy enough.
He wasn't. His
so
personality hurt him.
Yeah. So that's what it was. He's from another country, another culture. That hurt him. Like Swayman, I think he'll get the benefit of the doubt because he's bulldog, but he's really missed a holdout. And until he does better than that and plays better, he's going to hear it from the fans. Like they're going to start to turn on him. They already did, during the holdout and stuff. There were people calling for trades for him, trade his ass. So he's got some work to do to repair his image in this town. 100%.
Yeah, for sure. And Pejman says that he meant that if the guys produce, that they'd be in the top 2 in the standings. He agrees that they're not probably as talented as those teams, but no one has run away with a division, and that's true. I mean, Tampa is struggling right now. Florida's been up and down. Toronto lost Matthews for a while. So, yeah, I mean, that is true that those teams have not run away with it, and they've had their issues too. But I think on paper, I would feel better if I was a fan of those 3 teams over the Bruins. Robert Giuliano's nickname for Sway, 8.25, set the goalie market. Yeah, he said that's going to stick with him. Now, this is what was said on this podcast, largely by Smitty, was, now if he goes in and he stinks, then he's gonna hear it, and he's gonna, and there was, like you said, that there was a real, issue that you thought this could happen, and if it does happen, it could really create a problem, and it has. Like, he had to come in and be nails, and he put a lot of pressure on him to do it, and he wasn't. So by a long shot, like, he's one of the worst goalies statistically in the league. Not only is he not as good as he was, he's not good at all.
Right.
So that's really the worst case scenario for him and the team.
Yeah, that we needed at least regular season Sway from last year, and we're not even getting that.
No.
Like, we're not even getting that. People want the playoff Sway, but we're not getting that. And right now, I would settle for last year regular season Swayman. He was very, very good last year in the regular season. Even better in the playoffs, but in the regular season last year, he was very good. We need that guy to return if this team has any chance at all of going to the postseason.
Yeah, for sure. Beth Blank says Bruins seem to always sign guys who are at the end of their career, and it's been something they've always done. Some have worked. Mark Recchi, Michael Riders of the world, and even Yager had some nice moments with them. But there's been other guys, Brian Giantas and the Lee Stepniaks and the Louis Ericksons, although he wasn't at the end of his career, but that was another guy that was similar to Elias Lindholm. Just doesn't fit the mold of what the Bruins fans really want to see. Or David Krejci is really the only guy, I think, of that ilk who's not really a true Bruin that made it work here. There's still some people who didn't love, and Pastrnak. Still people who don't love Pastrnak and Krejci for the same reasons they don't like Rask. But it's still, they still made it work because they were highly productive. And in playoffs, they largely produce.
Yeah, rose to the occasion. Sure.
If you do that, then you're fine. And that's what they did. So that's where it really comes down to it. If you are a clutch player in Boston, then people will love you.
Yeah.
If you're not, then people automatically deem you an overrated player and rip on you. And that's just what it boils down to.
Yeah, I mean this region got spoiled by championships from other clubs
with major clutch plays and players.
Yeah, major clutch players and plays. Yeah, I mean your Tom Brady's and your Big Poppies and your Larry Birds,
Julian Edelmans and guys who just make huge plays at big times.
Yeah, and so when Bruins players fall short, that automatically knocks them down a peg in the eyes of most of the fans around here. Just it's the reality of living in this area that has become accustomed to winning championships. So if you don't produce championships, that's not good enough for the fans here. They want championships. They don't want pretty good, or they don't want, we made the playoffs for 25 years in a row. Like that's not what people want here. They want the Stanley Cup. They want championships, and anything else is not good enough.
100%. Chuck Berry is just chiming in with a comment. Nice to see. I didn't know he was still alive, but Chuck Berry is in the comments section.
Big fan of Chuck Berry.
Big fan of Chuck Berry. They just need to tank and see what they can get in the first round. Obviously, that's not going to happen because Don Sweeney would not. He just doesn't. He can't do that. The ownership is not going to get behind that because they don't know a prospect from a fucking hole in the head. So they don't know that at all. They just want to sell the seats and sell the concessions and get the playoff gate. They want that. They want that. Even if they get 2 or 3 games, they're happy with that because it's major bucks for them. So, and I don't know. The tanking thing is one thing. I don't think they tank, and I don't even think they get bad enough to get high enough in the draft. But here's the other thing: do you really want this regime making that pick? Like that's the other thing.
Well, if they tanked enough, this regime would probably be gone because
I would think that would have to be the plan.
Yeah. Look, I would subscribe to that. Like, we've talked about it before. I don't want to watch, middling, average hockey. I don't. So I'd be willing to be bad for a year or two if you could tell me that I was going to get, one of the top 2 or 3 picks in this upcoming draft. Because from what I hear, there's some pretty good talent. So I'd be willing to do that. And, to me, whoever the next guy is, or if it's Don Sweeney, I would just say to look at the central scouting report that is available to all the teams. And when that comes out and you see who is graded in the top, 1 to 3 players, whoever is on the board, the highest ranked one, when it's your turn to pick, that is the guy you take. You do not go off the board, John Sweeney. You do not go out on your own and think you're smarter than everybody else.
No.
You stick to the goddamn list that is available to everyone, and you pick the next best available player. And if they had done that in 2015, we'd be looking at Kyle Connor right now and Matt Barzal. He wouldn't have been on the other team. He would have been on your team.
Yeah. And probably another cup.
Probably.
In the bank.
Yeah, if you had Kyle Connor, I think you probably win one of these last few.
You probably
series.
Beat the St. Louis Blues 2018.
Probably do. Yeah.
Allmark never played a full season either, says Bruins 1970. But here's the thing about Allmark. Yes, I agree. But Allmark gets hurt all the time.
Mhm.
Like, do you think? I don't know if Allmark can play 65 games and then go on in the playoffs and really play well and have enough juice left. I don't know that either. Like, so, and Allmark has been good for Ottawa lately. Had a little bit of a dip, but then gets dinged up here and there. Even with Boston, like every single year, it seems to be something health wise with him. So
Yeah, look, I'm not saying that Ottawa is gonna jump over you, get into the playoffs, and win the whole thing. I'm saying in the regular season they're going to jump over you, and you're not going to get in. They may get in and lose in the first round. Allmark hasn't been good in the playoffs.
No.
So, but in the regular season, they have more than you have. So I think they're going to jump over you, and they'll get in, and you won't. And whether he's good in the playoffs or not doesn't really matter because you're watching from home. So, yeah, you traded him to a division rival that, needed a goalie, and you gave it to him, and he's probably going to jump in the playoffs and be smiling at you while you're, watching your guys, playing the Pebble Beach, Pro-Am.
Yeah.
With Bill Murray or somebody.
Right. Right. Andre Oben says, I'd love to know if there is static in the locker room between certain players. Do Marchand and Elias Lindholm actually get along? I'm sure the room is fine. Look, they aren't playing. They don't play particularly well. They don't play particularly well together. It's a roster that was incomplete that your general manager admitted was incomplete. So this is kind of what you get, and I don't know how to fix it. So
more talent,
I think losing creates some issues for sure. And there's probably been some frustration player to player. Of course there has. There's frustration in your living room with your family. Of course there it has. But I think largely this is a team that gets along well. It's always it seems to have for years been one of the best rooms in the league for many reasons. And I don't think that's really changed. I think there's a lot of guys in there who really like each other and seem to pull for each other and try real hard, and they just aren't good enough. Like it's
that's what it comes down to, talent. And then when you lose, of course, everybody gets frustrated. Winning cures a lot. When you're winning, everybody's happy or going on the rink. When you lose, it's kind of miserable.
Long season. Yeah.
It is. It's a grind. And if you're not doing well, it's a grind. So, I think if they can win some games and string some things together here, that would cure a lot of, what ails them.
Yeah, for sure. Swayman has not stolen a game all season. Yes, that is true. He hasn't been the guy who's stolen a game like the Bruins goalies have done in the last couple of years, anyway, at least. His prediction is that they're missing the playoffs, and so far it's been accurate. It very well could be. Beth says our draft choices haven't been great. They haven't. I mean, the jury's still out on like a Matt Patra, and the jury's, not as out, but kind of still out on Low Rye. You don't know what you're absolutely going to get with him. Maybe he continues to improve and gets to a level where you're comfortable with him. Who knows? But yes, it's been a tough stretch. Draft pick wise, and who knows who these other young kids they have on the farm, if any of them will be. Most are projected to be bottom 6 anyway. So I don't know what you're going to have there either. The ghost of Zach Shanishin. Yeah, that's for sure, Andre. And then Allmark has an injury right now, Beth says. So there you go.
Yeah.
Hasmick, what I'd give to be a fly on the wall in the locker room, though. Yeah, I mean, for sure. I don't know what's said. And I think that Marchand and Pastrnak are probably frustrated. You saw McAvoy smash a stick against the crossbar tonight. So he's frustrated. So I'm sure they are frustrated. I think that the team doesn't quite know how to play. I just don't think it's a good mix of players gelling together style-wise. I'm sure they all like each other.
Yeah.
For the most part. But I think it's really the style that they want to play as opposed to what their roster makeup is.
Yeah.
I don't think it matches.
I'm with you. I was just going to say, I don't think the chemistry within the lines is great. Like, you have too many guys who are the same guys. It's like, you have who is it? Marchand with Coyle and Brazeau. Is that right? Is that what it is?
Marchand, Coyle, Brazeau,
No, Marchand, Coyle, Lindholm.
Lindholm. Right.
So you have like, Coyle and Lindholm are both like they want to possess the puck or whatever, and like it's just like you have two guys who want to do the same thing. So like no one's getting to a place where they can shoot the puck to score because everybody wants to cycle down low and hold on to it. It's like there's too much of the holding on to it and not enough getting it to the front of the net. One of the things that I do like about Brazeau is when he gets the puck behind the net, he's getting it right back to the front of the net. And those are dangerous plays, whether it connects or not. It goes through the slot. There might be somebody there. Maybe there isn't, but it could hit off a foot, hit off a skate, go to somebody, deflect in. Like he makes plays that are dangerous to the other team. And this team as a whole does not do that nearly enough. It's much too much on the outside or back to the points. Mm-hmm. They don't really look to the high slot ever for a pass to score a goal. The Brazeau, goal tonight was an exception. That usually doesn't happen. It's usually a curl along the wall and turn it over or get it deep or back to the point. So, just the way they play offense as a team, I don't think they do enough to create, high danger chances.
Yeah, I don't think so either. Last night, Frederick had that goal in the slot. We're off the face-off to Frederick, scored far side. That's a goal in the slot that they need to have more of. Zacha tonight had a beautiful chance at the end of the period, but 11 seconds left in the second. Same thing as Frederick. Same spot, same type of shot, far side, but this time a kick save. But that's the type of thing. Those are the high danger areas. And you're right. They don't get a lot of those. They don't get a lot of those at all. They need to get more of them for sure. And then White Shoe Jones says Gerard Mayo is available to help with the power play.
Well, he has only 7 less power play points than Chris Kelly does.
Yes, right. So
he's right in the same ballpark. So maybe he would help. Yeah,
I mean, there's another. At least the Bruins aren't the Patriots right now.
Oh God.
At least, I mean, they may be at some point, but at least they are not the Patriots. We'll see, I guess. 4 losses now in games against Edmonton, Florida, and Tampa Bay. Oh, boy. Macaulay Martin, all these dum-dums who are happy they grinded out a point tonight. You shouldn't need to grind out a point against the effing Islanders. Lost, 5 out of 6. Everyone content with mediocrity. I'm with you. I mean, I just hate that comment by Sacco. I just hate it. You need to get 2 points against the Islanders at home with this stretch of games coming up, and the fact that it's really nip and tuck right now. You need to get to compile as many points as you can with these other teams having games in hand. You have to. And to lose a point, I mean, that could come back to bite you. You've got to beat the Islanders there. I know you played last night. I know you played a tough game, tough result. You tried real hard. You lost. A tough loss, but you got to come back home and you got to win that game. And they got 1 point out of the 4 this weekend, and that's just not enough. It's not going to be enough. No. So, and you're right, the mediocrity and they got a point and they're trying real hard. Well, it's not washing machines. It's hockey. Trying hard is not enough, and it's not high school hockey either. So it could be an ugly run, Shaz. You're right. But that should do it here tonight. Next game for the Boston Bruins is what, Tuesday night? Tuesday night against, is it Tampa Bay?
Let me look.
I think it might be Tampa Bay, right? January 9th. No, 9th.
Tuesday the 7th. Edmonton Oilers come to town.
Edmonton is in on Tuesday night, 7:00 at TD Garden, and then they'll play on Thursday night at Tampa, and on Saturday afternoon at Florida. So here's 3 big ones this week. 6 points are available. I'm hoping for 4. 3 to 4. 3 to 4. 3 to 4. Got to get 3 to 4. Can't end up with 1 or 2 or 0.
No, you can't.
You can't. You got to get 3 or 4 at least of these points. You got at least half of these points this week. So
Big ask.
We'll see. It's a big ask, but we'll see. But anyway, great night tonight, everybody. Thanks a lot for listening in the comments. And we'll do it again on Tuesday night after the Edmonton game. Until then, as always, go Bruins.
Appreciate all of you. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye.